Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you've been hearing all this incredible buzz about AI and programming, but you just haven't actually sat down to set it up yet, well, you are exactly in the right place. Okay, let's dive right into this. Today, we're unpacking the absolute foundation you need to get GitHub Copilot up and running. We're going to build your confidence right from the ground up and get your whole environment fully prepared. So, let me ask you this. Are you actually ready to integrate GitHub Copilot? Because honestly, the truth is, having an AI pair programmer sounds a little like science fiction until you actually sit down and configure it. For a lot of folks, that very first step, just getting the tool to actually talk to your workspace, that's the biggest hurdle. But don't worry, we're going to completely demystify that process today. By the end of this explainer, you're going to understand exactly how to transform your daily workflow from a solitary grind into this highly collaborative, AI-assisted experience. Here's our roadmap for today. First up, Copilot Basics for Beginners. Then, integrating with your IDE. And finally, connecting to your database. Section 1, Copilot Basics for Beginners, starting your AI pair programming journey. Right, before we click any buttons or install any software, we really need to understand the landscape. So the crucial point here is understanding what we actually mean by that word, integration. Looking at our source material, the main focus for beginners isn't about writing massive, complex algorithms right out of the gate. No, it's about integration. And that is simply the process of connecting GitHub Copilot directly into your existing coding tools and data environments. It's basically about taking this incredibly powerful AI brain and plugging it straight into the spaces where you already do your work. It's not here to replace your tools, it's here to completely supercharge them.
Based on the materials we're looking at, there are two primary environments we absolutely must conquer today. The first one is your IDE, your primary workspace. And the second is your database, which acts as your data layer. Mastering how to weave Copilot into these two specific pillars, that is the absolute key to unlocking its full potential when you're just starting out.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why we're going through all this effort. Think about a standard setup. You're coding completely alone, right? Often staring at a totally blank screen, relying entirely on your own memory or just doing constant web searches. But an AI-integrated setup, that means having a brilliant collaborative assistant deeply embedded right there in your tools. It's literally the difference between navigating a pitch-black room with a tiny flickering flashlight versus just flipping on the main light switch. You work faster, you learn faster, and honestly, it's just a whole lot more fun. Moving on to part 2, integrating with your IDE, bringing Copilot into your home base. Let's see how this builds our foundation. Our source material points to a very specific, totally foundational question that literally every beginner asks: how to integrate with IDE. It's the most natural starting point in the world. I mean, you can't exactly have a pair programmer if they aren't sitting at the desk with you, right? So we want to address this core question head-on and really reassure you that setting this up is incredibly straightforward. You absolutely do not need to be a seasoned software architect to make this happen.
Okay, here is exactly how it works in practice. Step 1, you simply open up your primary IDE. Step 2, you navigate over to the extensions or plugins marketplace inside that software. It's essentially just an app store for your code editor. And step 3, you search for GitHub Copilot, click install, and then just follow the quick prompts to authorize it with your GitHub account. And that's it. 3 chronological, totally user-centric steps. You're literally just installing an add-on and logging in. Easy, right?
So once you complete those 3 steps, take a breath, celebrate for a second, because your home base is now fully AI-powered. Seriously, feel free to take a sip of coffee here. You have just cleared the biggest initial hurdle. Copilot is now sitting there quietly in the background of your editor, totally ready to offer suggestions, auto-complete your lines, and start learning from your unique coding style. Now for part 3, connecting to your database. Expanding Copilot to your data layer. All right, now that our environment is set up and our primary workspace is completely optimized, let's look at our data. Jumping back to our source text, the very next conceptual leap for a beginner is expanding the tool's utility. The source asks how to integrate with database like blank. And what this shows us is that to really get the absolute most out of Copilot, we have to push beyond just writing logic and syntax. We actually need our AI to understand the underlying structure of our data. Because when Copilot can truly see your database, it can help you write the exact specific queries needed to retrieve, update, or analyze that information. So how do we bridge that gap? Well, it follows a conceptual path that's very similar to the IDE setup, and I promise it's just as approachable. Step 1. Identify your database management tool or extension. Step 2, establish the connection protocol. Now, that might sound fancy, but it really just means logging into your database securely within your workspace so your IDE can actually see the data structure. And step 3, enable the AI context. Depending on your specific tools, this is what allows Copilot to actually read your database schema. Don't worry about any heavy technical jargon here. Conceptually, you are just introducing your database to your AI assistant so they can finally, talk to each other. Now, what's really fascinating about this is the contrast in the workflows. Without integration, you're dealing with isolated data. You're writing manual, kind of blind queries and relying on sheer memory. I mean, we all know that incredibly unique pain of running a massive SQL query only to realize you misspelled a column name down on line 42, right? But with connected data, because you actually followed the integration steps, Copilot understands your database schema. So when you start typing a query, it knows exactly what columns exist and suggests the rest of the code for you. It is an absolute game changer for both your productivity and your accuracy. Which brings us right to the end of our setup journey today, leaving us with this one final thought. How will these foundational integrations change the way you write your next line of code? You now know for a fact that bringing Copilot into your IDE and connecting it to your database isn't some giant, insurmountable technical mountain. It's literally just a few deliberate, highly rewarding steps. Your workspace is ready, your data layer is connected. The only thing left to do is open up that editor, take a deep breath, and let the collaboration begin. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and hey, happy coding!